Kwesi. He is a man of God and also very interested on issues of politics and society. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you very much, sir. And good evening to all the viewers. Tonight, I'm happy to be here.
Okay.
It's a wonderful program and it's towards nation building. So we always part of anything that can build the nation.
How's the day been?
It's been a very good day, though busy with so many activities. But I rate it good.
You got information of what took place in Bamenda yesterday where a policeman was beheaded.
So horrible. Even we saw the images. The images on social media. It's so sad that human beings have become very barbaric, because to cut somebody's head is actually terrible, and we condemn such acts. It's not good at all.
It does not reflect us as a community.
Yes, that's what we never knew. It's true that many people have been radicalized and they're behaving in an inhuman way.
Okay.
But that's not what was there before.
Okay. We equally are in the company of Tamai Chavis. He is a journalist and an expert on issues of peace, conflict resolution. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you very much, Leo, for inviting me. I want to say good evening to all those who are watching us right now in the Noma, what we call Ground Zero, to be more precise, in Moya, where I'm, I just left there this today to just be part of this program to ensure that we give a balanced and objective analysis in a way that will help and transform the common man to better understand the situation on the ground, and in a way that would make the general population to make informed choices from a professional perspective. I think it's a privilege for me to be part of this program today.
Okay, you left Muniak today, normal ghost town?
Yeah, it was not easy leaving Moya today. Even the agitator should understand that it is for the good of everybody that we may and we must, however, come to let the world know what's happening within our environment, and to let the world know the kind of solutions that we think can be put on the table in order to resolve the ongoing crises that have been rocking the lives of Cameroonians of the two regions, captioned the Anglophone region.
Okay, we equally here in the company of Song Derek, Civil Society. Good evening and welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Leo. It's always a pleasure being here and as a youth to contribute to nation building. It's the normal sing-song that the youths are the leaders of tomorrow. So it becomes a pleasure to be part of the group so that we see how that tomorrow that we are dreaming of will surely one day come.
You were in the Northwest region, you just came back?
Yeah, I was in the Northwest region, properly called Ground Zero. Life there is quite horrible. In fact, there are two different zones that we live in. If you go there, you realize that people come out like animals from the bushes trying to peep to see if there is a free flow before they come out. The town can be very busy. In the next click,
a twinkle of an eye,
the town goes dead. It's quite a horrible situation and very, very bad.
Okay, we have information that Edmond Kwate is on his way. He's going to be joining us in less than 10 minutes time. I start with you, Pastor Chris. Did you go through the letter or the communique that sanctioned the extraordinary General Assembly that was called by the chiefs from Lebialem?
I actually saw it. I saw it. They were crying for salvation.
Yes.
They were crying and saying they want the military to intervene and restore order so that they can regain their throne, because it's like they have practically been dethroned. With the enthronement of Field Marshal, who has been made king of Lebialem, from what we saw in the video, in the videos circulating on the social media. So they are actually crying that the government should do something so that they can regain their palaces, because they have been reduced to internally displaced persons. They are part of those the ITPs.
Yes, but do you understand this cry that is coming from the custodians of tradition? These are the real fathers of the land.
Yeah, it shows their failure in maintaining a neutral position in this whole fight, because chiefs or fonds are supposed to be very neutral, but we have most of our chiefs and fonds involved in partisan politics. And when they are in partisan politics, the people see them as those belonging to the opposing camp. And that's the fight, because with the separatist fighters, they are seeing the fonds and the chiefs as those belonging to the opposite camp. And that's why they act after them, and they are running helter-skelter. So this is simply a consequence of partisan politics. Fonds who are supposed to be there to make sure that their populations are in peace have now started running after bread, and this is where they have landed in. So I think they are actually getting just what they sowed. It's simply harvesting what they planted.
Yeah, but this how do you say what did they plant? How do we explain that chiefs from a particular area are now finding themselves in Yaoundé? Let's even get the context of that meeting, that the fonds Olif Lebialem are meeting in Yaoundé to hold a very pivotal meeting concerning the lives of their people.
Thank you for that. I think I want to give 3 practical examples of why this thing happened the way it's happening. We have 3 stages of violence. We have direct violence, we have structural violence, we have cultural violence. Now, direct violence is that kind of violence where somebody pick up an arm and shoot at another person, and that person dies. And in structural violence is that kind of violence where state institutions or policies or organs deprive minority groups of their right to justice, their right to peace, their right to development, their right to education, their right to freedom. And now we come now to structural violence, where it's that kind of violence where a certain group of persons or a certain class of individuals feel they are more superior and more intelligent than others, and they are more, they should have more than the others. And the case of Lebialem, you see, is coming from an aspect of structural violence, where you see most of those chiefs in where they are today probably have meted injustice on their subject, because no subject, let me be honest with you, Leo, if you are a chief that have not carried out structural violence on your people, your people will be very well with you, will be happy with you. And we want to talk about injustice. That's why I began by defining this phrase of violence. We look at the aspect of lands. When we have a land that's given, how many of these lands are being distributed to the indigenes themselves?
Yeah, but,
let me just give you this analysis, and you see why it's happening the way it's happening. I think Pastor has given up another side of it, which is political. I want to come now from the natural, the social side of it. Okay. Now you look at how many of these chiefs or fonds actually give justice to their people when it's due. Now, when all this happens within the village, where there's a visit within the palace and it becomes political, all this accumulates, the people now start moving up to what is known as direct violence. The case in Lebialem is funny because a chief will be asking that the state to come and put order in your community. That therefore means that you have actually lost it. You should be dismissed, and somebody else should be put as a chief, because it is your duty to rally the people and become a political non-partisan. Chiefs are supposed to be a political and non-partisan, and supposed to be at the beck and call of the people, meaning that the chief are supposed to be an intermediary between the state and the people without taking side. But when you see this kind of situation, it tells you that there have been a structural violence within those communities. Why haven't you asked that there are some villages which we still have chiefs? Go to Bamenda, Mankong, Bafut. We still have fonds that are there, and in the hinterlands of those from the Isu, you see those interior villages, you still have traditional heads, chiefs within those villages still running commands in these hard-hit areas. But why is it that in some localities, especially in Fako and in the BLM, we have some chiefs that are IDPs, like some of us here, who cannot command their area, and now asking for the government, who the government has entrusted you that you are the head of that village, take care of that village, give us security report, and collaborate with your people for the development of the nation. And you are not coming back to the state. You therefore tell the government that, please, I'm not competent, please fire me, fire me, fire me. And holding that meeting not only in Southwest, but out of Southwest, in Yaoundé, it gives now the common man to understand that you have lost it. So to solve this crisis, to solve the crisis of the funds, the fund first need to get to do an apology to the population and tell the population we are sorry because it's a violation of the tradition. Why would chief leave their throne? And in no circumstances should you leave your throne. You should be there. You took it. It's like marriage, for better and for worse. In the good days, they were in the villages. And in the bad days, they should still be in the villages.
Okay,
Let me just cue in there, Mr. Jarvis. You understand something that it is not the state that give the chiefs authority. The chiefs by nature gain authority by the power of the land. That's what we know. That's why if you go to places like in the Northwest, when you are made a fund, it's automatic. When the fund says something, it becomes like a law, and the people respect that without any debate. But when you see a situation where the chiefs are calling for the military to help restore them to power, we ask ourselves, where are the custodians of the traditions who usually put them in power? If they should be begging the military to come and help them sit or take back their authority, it therefore means, in fact, it's something that is humorous, it's something that makes us laugh, because that is not the chiefs we used to know. The chiefs we used to know used to be having authority. In fact, the chief's authority looked like a demigod authority, because it is hereditary. It's right within. When they speak, people respect it automatically. So when the government now is coming to say, we want the government to put us back to the seat, how? It makes the people laugh. And we are telling ourselves that these chiefs have lost authority. And there's one thing I want to say. They have lost authority. That's not the problem. But it's an effect. They have lost authority because of something. What has caused them to lose authority? If that thing is gradually looked into and the root is tapped into, you will realize that the chiefs will get automatic authority. They will be restored automatically. But if we want to think that the military one day we go back and say, oh, chief, we have come from Yaoundé as presidential decree, come back and gain your authority. It's not going to work. Okay. It's going to be to work by the fact that the people are with them. Yep. And the chiefs are working for the people. For the people.
Pastor, the chiefs actually expressed a disappointment at the activities of the Red Dragons there at in Lebialem. They say they cannot understand why war is still ongoing after the major national dialogue. Can you see with the chiefs why they are surprised?
I don't see why they should be surprised, because when they went to Yaoundé, they didn't go to defend the interests of the people.
Okay.
They went to Yaoundé for their own selfish interests. You know, the kind of politics that the elites in these two regions have been playing for many years have been politics that benefit only themselves, not politics that benefit the society or the community. Because you see that somebody is in politics, but he's the only one progressing. His community is still in darkness, no development. So that kind of person is a selfish person. And most of these people went to Yaoundé and sat there for dialogue. Were very selfish people. They are very selfish people. So they were not honest, because if you look at the dialogue, they said there are some things which should not be on the dialogue table. And
yeah, but the chiefs considered the dialogue very frank, inclusive in nature.
It wasn't. It was any other thing, but not that.
Okay.
If you look at it, if it's inclusive, why should other topics be avoided, like federalism? You see that they already had a plan. They just wanted people to help them enforce their plan. So the chiefs were also there. Mm-hmm. And, you know, they went there, like I said, for themselves. They didn't go there with anything, with objectivity. If they were honest, sincere, they would have understood that if this situation if they want peace, because they said they wanted peace, that's why they went to Yaoundé. And the things they would have been putting on the table were supposed to be things that will bring about peace and will guarantee peace. But when they got there, they were not bringing things that could lead to peace. That's why even after the major dialogue, we still have...
Now, one last question to you, Pastor. The chiefs have been ruling when things were relatively calm. How do we understand that? Because things are tough now, they can't stay back to face the heat and then see into it that the problems are solved with the people. If the people perish, they perish with them.
You know that this struggle or this fight is changing dimension every day.
Yeah.
In those days, when they had the peace plant, they were there. When they graduated from peace plants and they started using Dane guns, things were also calm because it was like a hit and run strategy. Now they are having AK-47, where the firepower somehow can be equal to the firepower of the military. So you see that the situation on ground is getting heater every day. So the chiefs are also measuring the temperature, and they are seeing that the things are getting out of hand, and as such, they are taking refuge in other places. That's why right now they don't have any command on ground, because the dimension in which the battle has moved to is a terrible one.
Okay, the dimension is a terrible one. The chiefs they raise concerns on the threats facing their customs, tradition, their cultural heritage, which according to them is being desecrated due to ferocious activities of separatists. Do they really need to be worried about the possibility for the culture to be destroyed by those who now reign supreme?
Leo, I think I want to cue with what my brother said. He talked about the fact that chiefs are custodians of the law of the land, and it means that either the gods have left the chiefs or the chiefs have left the gods. One of them must be either the gods of the land have left the chiefs because of what is happening and prefer that there should be justice, and the chiefs choose to go their own way, or the chiefs have left the gods to do their own things, and that's why you have situation like that. I think they have a genuine case and reason to be worried about their artifact, about their culture, about the tradition, the sacredness of their tradition, what makes their tradition their tradition. But I always tell people that these are the unintended consequences of war. When you go for war, you should be prepared for unintended consequences. There are always a vacuum which is created when there is war. And when this period comes like that, what the chiefs should do is that they should look for partners for peace within these communities. Who are those within these same communities who are still in Lebialem that have not left the village despite the ongoing crisis, despite the fact that FM had been proclaimed as the paramount chief of the area. Now, when you have these persons, you start contacting these persons. Please start advocating on our behalf. But that's how you start solving the crisis. And when you start solving it within that aspect, you start from a bottom-top approach. You meet those people who are still loyal to you as a chief. They work with others, start begging them. You know you must reach a consensus. This is negotiation, whether we like it or not. The chiefs they have to negotiate with those on the ground. And mind you that regardless of how the situation will be, we have new cultures. For example, that gun culture and the violent culture has come to stay, whether we like it or not. And it will interest you to understand that before now, when a gun is shot or fired in the air, somebody in Boya in 2015 will quickly run away and desert the house. But now it has become a new normal, where you get up in the morning and you don't hear gunshot. It's like you ask yourself, what is happening? And when they shoot at times, you say, they are shooting there, they'll go. It's normal. But so is that culture. That culture has come to stay. There are new cultures that will be constructed in the process of this war. We should get used to that. But the chiefs, again, as I will tell you, that they should look for this partner for peace. Those who have been in Libya, that have not been able to live despite the oath, you get them to advocate for you before you even come up with the communique. To me, they wouldn't have come up with that communique. What they were supposed to do was, first of all, to call for an all Libya conference of sons and daughters of the Libya, inclusive in northwest or southwest. And when they call for this conference, the first question they should ask is, sons and daughters of Fontem or Libya, where did we go wrong? They will have a consultative talk, a general assembly, form of like a general assembly. We went wrong because of this, that. Okay, sons and daughters of Libya, as your funds, how can we ameliorate this situation to take back our chiefdom? Now they will give you meaningful proposals. When they give you meaningful proposals, say, sons and daughters of Libya, please, when you go back to the villages, call the village and let them understand that together we may have made mistakes, but together we will come back and fight as brothers and sisters. Remember, what unites us, Leo, is not because I am from Way village and somebody is from Moon village or somebody is from Bakwere. What unites us is the image, and in the likeness is the image of God in us. We are created in that image of God in us, what we call in Latin the Imago Dei. And if the Imago Dei is with you, I will be loved, you will be loved. So we should equally look at the way chiefs should look at communicate, don't speak. Since from 2016 till now, if we start keeping track of communicate, we should have more than 32 PV that we already have.
Now, the chiefs actually want the government to come back and create an enabling environment in Libya division, so that once again they can come back and continue with their normal life, not just for them, but the people of Libya. How does that operate? Exclusively from what is happening in the northwest and south, in the northwest generally and the southwest region. How do they expect the government to create an enabling environment within the BLM so that they can get back?
I recall one of the statements I've made just now is that what is happening in BLM is an effect, and that effect is produced by a cause. And if we want to think that we are going to restore the chiefs under the same hot potato, it's not going to work. The truth is, everything that is happening, for people to have left their ecosystem to somewhere else is because of something. It's an effect of that thing. For the chiefs to have lost their authority, it's an effect of something. So if the chiefs think that they can single out the fact that they have lost their chiefdoms, they have lost their fondoms, and put them back there, it's not going to work. It is when the root cause of what is happening is handled. Remember, there is a problem. There's a difference between symptoms and a sickness. What has happened now is that it shows a symptom of something. What is a sickness? If we should handle that sickness, the chiefs will automatically sit back on their seat. What are we saying? We're saying that the crisis that has been occurring in this country for 3 years and counting is what has made the chiefs to lose their power. And if we need the chiefs to get back their powers, let us tackle that one problem. That one problem that has made Cameroonians to be moving from bushes to bushes. That one problem that has made Cameroonians to be moving from country to country. That one problem that has made chiefs to become homeless in their own homeland. If that problem is not handled, it will not help them, because we cannot single out the fact that the chiefs have lost authority and bring back their authority. It is when the situation is handled, and handled with good faith, that we think everything can come back to normal. If not, it will be a wonderful joke.
That's why I said that they should do a consultative talk, a general assembly. The sons and daughters will give them exactly the solutions.
Okay, they are worried. The chiefs are worried that the separatists are struggling to tarnish some of them, their images, and those of politicians from the BLM elites, by telling the world that they are sponsoring them. They want the separatists to stop doing that.
You see selfishness reflected from those statements they are uttering, because they are worried about their security and the appointments they may enjoy. which may not come because their names are tarnished. So they are not bothered about the people who are dying. The bloodshed on ground is not a problem to them. It is all about them. So you see that they are very selfish. If they were not dethroned, you will not hear them crying. Why did they not come up with those communiques before? To say the condition on ground is not good, let the government see into it that the demands of these people should be met. I saw a picture today on Facebook that actually touched me. This is a picture of the ex-president of Nigeria, Olusegun Obasanjo. He was actually bowing before a certain traditional ruler. I think it happened when he was somehow in office, if we could get back to that. I saw the picture today. And I was really touched in my heart. I said, this is because to bow down before your traditional ruler, it's a traditional responsibility. And imagine, he is the president. He's bowing before a traditional ruler. That means he acknowledges the powers of that traditional ruler. But if you come back here in Cameroon, you see our fonts who have a tradition that they don't shake hands with any kind of people. They can even shake hands with the women, just because they want to get some money, because they are politicians, they are somehow well positioned, they just want to get some advantages so they can do anything for money. So you see that our funds have lost their moral authority, and that is what has pushed them to where they are today. If they were examples in the society, you get to some villages, funds have seized land, some of them have sold the village land, and they have committed so many atrocities. And that's like what our brother was talking about, structural violence. That is why today they are in the hiding. Because they cannot stand the people.
That is why they are today in the hiding. The chiefs welcome this, and now they want help from the government. The chiefs lack wisdom. Okay, they say these people don't have sense. Okay, I don't know how they welcome this one. Mr. Dave in Kumba, let me ask the question first. Who started the war in Libya? Is it the military or field marshal? The Libya funds are really confused. They should go back as they left. The chiefs have lost authority. The Red Dragons are sending out the military, not the chiefs. Okay? Good evening and all in the studio. It's a shameful thing that this regime succeeded to lure some of these funds to join political parties. Does the fund even have to engage in politics? No. They're supposed to welcome development from the state or whoever is giving it. Now they are asking the state to give them security. It will be funny to see a fund in a palace surrounded by the military. I'm not sure. Now, it's not good for our funds, but the funds need to get back. Was there any time, an instance where warning notes were given for the funds and chiefs to leave the villages? Who asked them out of the villages?
Well, to answer that question, I must give some full disclosures there. I am not part of the restorationists or the government to know whether a letter was given to them or not. But I feel like, as Pastor Chris said a while ago, that as the conflict progresses, it moves from category 1, category 2, category 3 to category 4, and where we are now in category 6.
Yeah, but the funds remain funds.
Yes, funds remain funds. But the problem now comes in is what we call structural violence. Remember, when there's a conflict ongoing, people comes in to settle personal scores. That's the vacuum. I earlier started by pointing out that a vacuum is created. First of all, when you do injustice to somebody, maybe you have done that in 1998, and you do that again to another person in 2000, and this crisis, bam, comes up, and that person is in the non-state armed group. What do you expect from that person? There will be that yes, there's that high possibility. Another possibility, land was given to this community, about 40 acres of land, and you take 20 acres and give the SDO and the governors and the rest, and you take 10 and share to the community, and you keep part of the land to your own fair. At that moment, there was no vacuum for them to say, hey, because you have the political might to shun them down. And now there is that vacuum that has been created. What do you think of that quarter head who was supposed to have at least 4 parcels of land and don't have, and whose son is in the non-state armed group. Of course, there's that possibility. This is another possibility. What of these cases whereby traditional authorities, because of their political gains, have been enthroned as fonts and chiefs, where the legitimate person who was supposed to be crowned chief is not crowned due to the new genre of consultative talks, that they must be consultative talk, and the SDO comes and legalize whoever the government or whoever they feel is best for chief. And at that moment, the president don't have anything to retaliate, and this vacuum now has come into place, and bam, he wants to become chief, and the son is in the non-state armed groups. So these are some of the possibilities that have made the funds to leave their localities without anybody chasing them. Those are the vacuums. Another vacuums where you see that a fund in a village, money made for developmental project, which is contributed and end up in the coffers of the fund, and nobody gives an accountability. And this now happens. The people now riot, and know that they are what we call third parties in the villages. Third parties are those who probably, because of the serenity of the environment, may not have the chance to agitate, and because of the fact that a vacuum has been created, they want to be chiefs, they want to command. So these are the people or categories of factors that made these funds to leave the village, and above all, to crown it all, the politicizing of chiefdoms, where they choose to become a certain political party and campaign for a certain political party. Now that there's this vacuum, this other opposition says that, okay, we want to take over the chiefdom, such that when the campaign comes, we will have the largesse to campaign for our own opposition party. That is what killed the chief. The chiefs saw their right, their best right to politics.
They did not see this coming.
Yes, and politics is paying them back.
Okay, this one says, Mr. Jarvis, tell them. When you write, tell us where you're writing from and who is writing. Hello, good evening, sir. It's Dorian in Bamenda. Those who always run after bread and forget where they come from, not to talk of representing the people. It always ends up these ways. Good evening to you people in the studio. I think the chiefs of the BLM have failed in their responsibilities. The reason being that they are the ones selling their communities by giving information to the military. I'm Oben Alvin, writing from Yaoundé. It is regrettably that the influence of money has destroyed our chieftaincy in Cameroon. The chiefs are fighting for the stomach and not for the population. Some chiefs are power mongers. Our tradition do not have values again. By Pichangwe, George, writing from Yaoundé. Greetings to all the panelists. I really love the way the pastor is hitting his points inside there. Kudos to Pastor Amu Joseph in Kumba. Thanks. Okay, thank you too. Good evening, Leo. Traditional heads should not be politicians. Man of God, you are on point. Romeo is writing from Alimbe. Hello, panelists. Field Marshal is a liberation leader, and he has no temporary regain control of the BLM following the vacuum left by the chiefs. What is the secretion of a land? The wanton killings and burnings of villages, or the temporary control of the BLM fandoms by the brave Field Marshal? But Jonathan writing from Boya. We move over to the news room to get what stories have made headlines today with Staffman Metunge Ngalame.
Higher Institute of Professional Studies is offering a platform for zealous young persons to procure an education of reputable standards to fit into today's competitive job market. With effective bilingual education and 22 years of experience, Access HIPS offers HND, bachelor and master's programs in management, legal affairs, shipping, logistics and transport management, accountancy, and a lot more. Admissions are currently going on, and you can contact the numbers 652-971-020 or 679-441-072. Access HIPS, creating and molding professionals for quality jobs.
Agriculture is the backbone of African countries. Do you want to be numbered amongst the best agricultural actors in your community, region and country? We got it all worked out for you. Come discover the easy way through. Tex Global is the magical place. At Tex Global, we provide free agri-consulting services, teach on improved agricultural techniques, direct on access to fertilizers and other agricultural inputs, provide routine financial training, business and personal development, exposure to new markets for all members, linkage and payment of trips to local and international agricultural training seminars, and a guaranteed monthly residual income for all members. We train in agriculture at many levels, and we are located at Moki Garage Great Support Boya, Sonak Street Kumba beside Ngasa Supermarket, Carrefour Hitech Yaounde, 29 Oyo Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. For calls, dial 671-731827. Consult with Tex Global and make all the difference in the world of agriculture.
Being one of more than 200 majors of HIPMAT, I am proud of my success. It all began at HIPMAT.
I am a CEO. I coach and lead a team of salespeople. I don't hesitate to tell them the vision was planted and molded by HIPMAT.
Today, I stand on a pedestal of experienced and committed lecturers. The foundation was laid by HIPMAT.
For over a decade, HIPMAT's credibility and ministerial recognition have trained more than 15,000 professionals in business management and engineering from HND to BTech, MBA, and what have you. With an outstanding partnership with the University of Bamenda for BTech and MBA programs, our undoubted commitment to your show's success is a reflection of the future you painted. The Higher Institute of Business Management and Technology, HIPMAT, a university for professionals.
Seeking a career in agriculture? Consider St. Louis Higher Institute of Agriculture, where students can build their interest in various farming systems by tailoring their study of agriculture to production, processing, and marketing agribusinesses, making them job providers and not seekers. St. Louis Higher Institute of Agriculture offers relevant practical education developed and delivered by experts and teachers who believe in teaching by demonstration. St. Louis Complex also offers through its Higher Institute of Medical Studies professional HND in nursing, midwifery, physiotherapy, pharmacy technology, medical lab sciences, dental therapy, radiology, and ultrasonography. We are located at Bonaberin Double opposite Nestle. Contact us on 678-435-138 or 677-764-674.
After Yaoundé and Limbe, Boya, Nayatan Midis, Boy Comedy Concepts and Mountain Hotel brings to you 3 shows, 3 cities. Boya chapter, Boya, must laugh. Now on the 15th of November 2019, as from 6 p.m. we go start now with red carpet now from Mountain Hotel. Boya, must laugh. For make una laugh, we go get funny people them like Oh Boy That Comic, Senior Pastor, Old Pancho, Spaco, Blaise Kalama, The Oracle, Marcus, J. Loaded, Noni White, Big Mami Agata, and plenty other funny people. Boya, must laugh. Guest musicians, Marcus Icon, Nancy Spice. General Toxic. Hallelujah. Miss banner.
And you won't make you hesitate, cause now you'll be the right boy.
Mango Bracelet.
At your door.
And many more surprises. Booyah. Most laughs. Tickets are available. 2,000 francs regular. VIP 5,000 francs. VIP for couple 20,000 francs. VIP table for 6 50,000 francs. Booyah. Most laughs. To get your own ticket, call the numbers 674 05 78 37 or 670 20 95 62 or 674 48 88 55. Booyah. Most laughs. This show has been supported by
Good evening and welcome to the 7:45 Primetime Newscast live on My Media Prime Television. The headlines. Hate speech has been on the rise in most media publications of recent, widening the gap between the elites of the Northwest and Southwest regions. Who is sponsoring the campaign and for what reason? My Media Prime will attempt an answer in tonight's newscast. The elements of the Rapid Intervention Battalion in Kumbam have extended their largesse to the population by giving them food and medical aid as part of their humanitarian assistance to victims of the ongoing crisis in the Northwest and Southwest regions. I am Mituga Stanley La Ngalame. The news. Some individuals have begun questioning the aspect of accuracy and balance as exhibited by some national media organs who propagate hate in the place of peace. According to them, the hate speech is a sponsored attack by some individuals to smear the efforts of some state authorities. Gienda Pelton Blanche Geng tells us more in the following report.
As stakes raised by the call for national dialogue evidently waters down, post-evaluation ascertains a loophole in the handling of issues to bring back peace in the country. To some individuals, the press has been used as a tool to incite hate between Cameroonians. According to Senator Mbela Moki Charles, some national newspapers are sponsored by individuals who intend to smear the efforts of the Prime Minister head of government. Though he didn't provide proof to show that these newspapers' publications were sponsored, he outrightly expressed that some individuals were behind recent publications of Cameroonian newspapers. At a time when the country hungers for peace, the banner headlines of most newspapers questions the efforts of authorities and in worst cases preaches hate. This singular act of constant publications of doctored and propagated headlines, according to many, is enough to draw conclusions that someone is masterminding hate. The question is, who is doing what and why? From the root organization of the peace talks, there had been several attempts to disrupt the process, attempts which were never successfully manifested. The Northwest and Southwest regions of Cameroon has been under serious unrest for 3 years amidst the Boko Haram insurgencies. The head of state has received the proposals from the various committees. Though many hold that the outcome will obviously be a sham, the hope of all Cameroonians is that the decisions from above should beget peace from below.
Staff Lady Gienda Pelton Blanche, and in that report, as you heard in one of our top stories, the population of Mile 40 Boya Road, Kumbam, on Saturday, October 19th, 2019, received a courtesy visit from elements of the Rapid Intervention Battalion, popularly referred to as B. The important visit was to consolidate the relationship between the Cameroonian army and the local population through humanitarian aid in times of crisis. Tamfu Siluan Zimbie is in Kumba and files in the following report.
When the unrest in the northwest and southwest regions escalated into an armed conflict, Mile 40 being the midway between Bonge subdivision in Meme division and Moyoka subdivision in Fako division of the southwest region, has been hosting a great number of displaced people who find the area safer. It is on this note that the Rapid Intervention Battalion of the military, the B, has embarked on the distribution of food items and consultation of the population who find it difficult here due to hunger and other health-related issues. led by Major Charles David Bitaka. The village on Saturday 19 October 2019 received a delegation of military personnel charged with health activities. They consulted both the young and the old and gave basic treatment to those diagnosed of some health problems. The population here expressed happiness but asked the B team to do more, especially at the time when there is high quest for peace to return in the northwest and the southwest regions.
And we thank plenty.
I've been happy for all the children they don't give me so. See, don't stay there, so don't tire. Make Papa chop me all for. We don't transfer power for us. If they don't send, if they rap, they go up in the morning.
The B team equally called on them to plead for the return of their brothers and sisters who are in the bushes to return home, stating that their mission to the southwest region is to protect the civilians and their properties, and working to stop the unrest for peace to return. Rice, groundnut oil, meat, fish, beans, flour and other food items were distributed to the population. As if that is not enough, the B element moved to an orphanage to console the children who are also faced with minor and major health challenges. A similar exercise is expected to continue in other areas affected by the armed conflict.
The new senior divisional officers of Ngo-Oke Tunjam and Bui Division in the northwest region of Cameroon have been challenged to promote the politics of development, the return of peace, protect the territorial integrity, as well as enhance the economic growth of their divisions. This call came from the Northwest Governor, Adolphe Lille Lafrique, during their installation recently. Charles Kibwa tells us more from Bamenda.
Installation of newly appointed senior administrators to the Northwest region in Ngo-Oke and Bui divisions. Northwest Governor Adolphe Lille Lafrique, while installing Kentong Haddison Konge as the new SDO for Ngo-Oke at the Ndop Grandstand 17 October 2019, challenged him to implement public politics of development, work in collaboration with the traditional authorities and the population, form vigilante groups and work towards the disarmament of armed groups. The superscale senior administrator will also have to ensure the territorial integrity as well as the economic growth of the division.
A native of this area is very well placed to mobilize his brothers and sisters to assist him in assuring long-lasting security for normalcy to come back in this division. That's the reason why I insisted on the revamping of the vigilante group here in the division. He do not only have to address the security concern, but he also has to revamp the economy of this division based on agriculture, livestock and fisheries.
While in Bui division at the Tobin Grandstand 18 October 2019, the new SDO Harry Lanwe Ngwani was challenged to work towards bringing life to the division greatly affected by the ongoing socio-political crisis.
He is to revitalize Bui division, and he has many tools at hand to succeed in that mission. He's not only a son of the soil, but he's coming here at the heels of the major dialogue convened by the head of state in Yaoundé, whose main resolution was to rebuild, reconcile, harness the riches of this division.
Shortly after his installation, the new SDO for Bui appealed to the population to stop inflicting pain on themselves.
While thanking my immediate hierarchy for this installation, I also want to seize the opportunity through him to thank the head of state for another opportunity to serve the nation, which has to start through reconciliation. And my greatest wish and hope is that I should be able to receive the necessary support from the population, the traditional authorities, the political authorities, the elite, and the common man.
Those challenge the population to bring back peace.
Let's take you back to Kumbam, Meme Division, Southwest Region, where orphans of the Father's House Orphanage at Mile 40 Boya Road, Kumbam, have benefited from humanitarian aid from elements of the Rapid Intervention Battalion. Tamfu Siduan Dimbi tells us more in the following report.
The humanitarian services of the Rapid Intervention Battalion of the military, the B sector, have been exclusively extended to the Father's House orphanage in Mile 40 along the Kumba-Buea Road. In this orphanage, life has not been easy, but the children here will once more smile as they are on this day, Saturday, October 19, visited by the medical team of the Rapid Intervention Battalion to carry out health consultation and the distribution of food items. We got interest in finding out a little bit about the orphanage from Madame Jeti Komi Charlotte.
It came about as a result of my e-health. I was seriously sick one time and I was diagnosed HIV positive. So from there, when God healed me, I decided to form an organization that can help other people.
This medical team has consulted severe health issues affecting the children. This little girl is suffering from a temporal case of blindness. Others are also consulted as they have health issues like malaria, running stomach and typhoid.
This one, they take one tablet for 1 day. You wait now 1 week.
As the consultation went on, the medical team discovered a severe issue with a 17-year-old Nkeng Charlotte who is suffering from paralysis. She is in this condition for 15 years. In 2004, Charlotte suffered from convulsion and the father who was running around to get medication for her was knocked down by a car which later on took away his life. The same year, the mother died in Moyoka subdivision. Since then, Charlotte has been in this orphanage. After consultation, the B medical team promised to table her condition to Lieutenant Colonel Ko Ella Francis of the SIT B sector in order for the provision of a wheelchair. This alone, plus the provision of medicines into the first aid box by the sector, has brought laughter on the face of the matron, Madame Jeti Komi Charlotte.
This is the second time they are coming here, and now they have come in a different dimension. Consultation, they have given us food items, and I have a particular case behind there, a paralyzed girl, and they have come to consult the girl, and they have promised that they will continue to pass and to check on her, and I believe that by the grace of God, that girl will get better through the support of the BIR.
The medical team has said they will continuously visit this home to support and assist the children.
You're watching the 745 Primetime Newscast live on My Media Prime Television. We're broadcasting from Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Les populations du quartier Mabanda sont victimes de stagnation d'eau souillée. Ce dimanche, elles ont tenu une réunion avec l'association Clean Cameroon afin une solution urgente à leur souffrance. Charles Fils Langue nous en dit plus dans ce reportage.
Mabanda fait partie des quartiers de la ville de Douala, dits improvisés. Comme plusieurs autres bourgades de la ville, les populations ont choisi contre vents et marées de s'investir dans des zones dites inhabitables au point d'entacher sur le plan d'urbanisation de la capitale économique. C'est le cas de ce quartier situé au 4e arrondissement où vivent depuis plusieurs années près de 700 âmes venues des 4 coins du pays dans le but de s'acquérir une propriété. Si la crise dite anglophone a contribué à son surpeuplement ces derniers temps, une préoccupation taraude de l'esprit des habitants du lieu dit Bloc 27.
L'eau est stagnante, ça ne suffit pas, les moustiques dérangent. On ne parle pas de rester dehors là, ça dérange. Et quand il pleut même, ça envahit toute la route. Oui. Si on pouvait débloquer en bas là, ça pourrait nous aider.
C'est la raison de cette réunion qui s'est tenue ce dimanche 20 octobre en compagnie de l'association Clean Cameroon qui promettait de peser de tout son poids afin de trouver solution à surtout ce problème d'eau stagnante dont l'un des responsables semble ici connu selon les habitants du bloc 27.
Et ce matin, on a travaillé là-bas en haut, mais ici en bas, c'est le décharge d'Apicam, le déchet d'Apicam, société Apicam. Bon, ici, là, on a le problème parce que l'eau usée ne peut pas sortir pour se vidanger dans la mer. Et l'eau de pluie aussi. Donc, chaque fois qu'il pleuve, tout le quartier est inondé. Donc, on est comme ça, là. Notre problème maintenant, c'est que si on pouvait, Apicam pouvait venir nous ouvrir le passage d'eau ici, un peu partout là, comme vous voyez, un peu partout là.
Une décharge de l'entreprise Apicam qui a une relation avec la mairie de Douala 4e pour pouvoir déverser ces déchets ici. Malheureusement, les populations ne tirent pas profit du fait que leur environnement soit dégradé de la sorte. Vous voyez très bien qu'il n'y a pas de voie pour accéder ici. Les eaux n'arrivent pas au niveau du Vouri. Les eaux restent pratiquement dans les foyers, dans les maisons, et que donc il urge de trouver des voies d'accès, de passage à ces eaux-là pour qu'elles puissent se déverser dans le fleuve.
La dite société est donc interpellée au premier chef, mais aussi les pouvoirs publics, afin qu'une solution urgente soit trouvée et permettre que soit éloigné un risque d'épidémie provoqué par ces eaux stagnantes qui abritent certainement des bactéries dangereuses pour la santé de l'homme.
Merci beaucoup, Shafi Selange, pour cette reportage. Let's take you back to the northwest region of Cameroon, where the population of Misaje and Nkambe subdivisions have vowed to put an end to any form of disorder, as well as secessionist incursions in their localities. They took the commitment over the weekend while receiving security items from the President of the Republic to combat organized crimes in their area. Charles Kebwa once again files in from Kambe.
The people of Misaje and Nkambe subdivisions in Donga and Mantung division of the Northwest region over the weekend vowed to put an end in any form of disorder as well as secessionist incursion in their localities. Since the start of the socio-political crisis in the Northwest and Southwest regions, Misaje and Nkambe had their experience on the hardship going on in other parts of the region. Schools have been functional with the disrespect of ghost towns and lockdown operation. The population of Misaje and Nkambe had formed community vigilante groups and had been collaborating with security forces and the administration, reporting suspicious persons found in the area. Northwest Governor Adolphe Lele Lafrique over the weekend saluted the commitment of the people for their patriotism and desire for peace.
All for one, one for all, to defeat terrorism through the mobilization of the population. The head of state, recognizing their effort, have instructed me to come to congratulate them and to hand over to them some equipment that will help them perform their duty without further difficulties. I'm very grateful of the promises they sent through me to the head of state that they are ready and more determined to continue bringing long-lasting security here by implementing at their level the resolution arrived at after the major dialogue convened by the head of state.
The governor handed government support to them with 8 motorbikes, security metal detectives, megaphones, rain boots, solar energy lamps, first aid kits, whistles, and 200,000 francs to each group as financial assistance. In appreciation to government gesture,
for receive a gift from we Papa, His Excellency President Paul Biya. We thank you, Papa, for recognizing the Misaje people in Donga Manto.
And we make sure that we put people in position that if you have any stranger or everybody who don't know him, we'll make sure that you identify yourself before you enter in Kambe. And we're working hard in groups with our cover boys.
They insist they will increase their effort to defend their community.
Charles Kebwa ending that report from Kambe. On to culture, His Royal Majesty Litake Muwanjo Mbua has been enthroned as the 7th traditional ruler of Bunganjo village in Limbe, Fako Division, Southwest region of Cameroon. The enthronement ceremony that took place over the weekend has come to lay to rest controversies over the chieftaincy stool. Kuma Onorimbo tells us more from Limbe.
Controversies over the long-standing disputed throne of Bunganjo village has been laid to rest as His Majesty Chief Litake Muwanga Mbua was enthroned as the 7th traditional ruler of Bunganjo village over the weekend. Welcoming the population, the chairman of the village traditional council, Ngando John, revisited the history of Bunganjo village as far back as the colonial period to clear the airwaves on controversies linked to the name and existence of Bunganjo village. According to the village council chairman, Bunganjo village has been ruled by 6 different chiefs from 1901 to to 1983, with late Chief James Ndumbe Kombe being the last chief to rule the village from 1960 to 1983. Late Chief Mbonde Mekeva was the 5th king of Mbonganjo and ruled from 1930 to 1960. He named his children with geographical features like streams and rivers used as geographical boundaries to demarcate the village during the colonial German period. As such, the name Ome River came from River Wome, Esukekam came from Esuka, and Benue River from Evenye. He saluted the ingenuity of the newly installed chief who has done everything possible that Bonganjo village is revived. It is important to note that Bonganjo village is one of the 6 villages that make up the Mutengene Mumbwenga court area and is under revival thanks to the land surrendering scheme of the Cameroon Development Corporation. This typical traditional coronation rite was presided over by a college of chiefs from the Tiko Chiefs Conference, alongside their peers of Fako Chiefs Conference under the leadership of Chief Kombe Richandike, who doubles as the president of both chief conferences.
It concerns all the statutes administratively and what we are doing today to make him a chief. Nobody should doubt his competence and his capacity. He's the full-fledged chief of Bonganjo village.
The chief was taken to the secret traditional house where he was invested with all the virtues of a traditional leader and endowed with the powers of the land, the sea, and commune with the forces of nature.
How to develop my village, to see how I can bring many companies and many schools to see to foster the development of my village.
In his installation speech, the president of the Tiko Chiefs Conference, Chief Kombe Richard Ndike, advised the newly installed chief to rule his population with the fear of the Lord and to reconcile with all disputing parties, especially those in court for land issues.
Kuma Honorembom ending that report, and it is on that note that we draw the curtains in tonight's edition of My Media Prime 745 Prime Time Newscast. Once again, our headlines. Hate speech has been on the rise in most media publications of recent, widening the gap between elites of the Northwest and Southwest regions. Who is sponsoring the campaign and for what reason? My Media Prime attempted an answer in tonight's newscast. Plus, elements of the Rapid Intervention Battalion in Nakumba have handed down food as well as medical aid to the population as part of their humanitarian assistance to the victims of the ongoing Anglophone crisis in the Northwest and Southwest regions. The news came to you thanks to the wonderful production of Faith Tatam, Ewane Nolinga Eli, and Desmond Ngwa. I've been Mituga Stanley La Ngalamem saying good night from Douala, Cameroon. Prime Hour continues with Mr. Kum Leonard and his guest. Good night.
Agriculture is the backbone of African countries. Do you want to be numbered amongst the best agricultural actors in your community, region and country? We got it all worked out for you. Come discover the easy way through. Tex Global is the magical place. At Tex Global, we provide free agri-consulting services, teach on improved agricultural techniques, direct on access to fertilizers and other agricultural inputs, provide routine financial training, business and personal development, exposure to new markets for all members, linkage and payment of trips to local and international agricultural training seminars, and a guaranteed monthly residual income for all members. We train in agriculture at many levels, and we are located at Moki Garage Great Support Boya, Sonak Street Kumba beside Ngasa Supermarket, Carrefour Hitek Yawunde, 29 Oyo Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria. For calls, dial 671-731827. Consult with Tex Global and make all the difference in the world of agriculture.
Seeking a career in agriculture? Consider St. Louis Higher Institute of Agriculture, where students can build their interest in various farming systems by tailoring their study of agriculture to production, processing, and marketing agribusinesses, making them job providers and not seekers. St. Louis Higher Institute of Agriculture offers relevant practical education developed and delivered by experts and teachers who believe in teaching by demonstration. St. Louis Complex also offers through its Higher Institute of Medical Studies professional HND in nursing, midwifery, physiotherapy, pharmacy technology, medical lab sciences, dental therapy, radiology, and ultrasonography. We are located at Bonaberin Double opposite Nestle. Contact us on 678-435-138 or 677-764-674. HIPS, Higher Institute of Professional Studies, is offering a platform for zealous young persons to procure an education of reputable standards to fit into today's competitive job market. With effective bilingual education and 22 years of experience, Access HIPS offers HND, bachelor and master's programs in management, legal affairs, shipping, logistics and transport management, accountancy, and a lot more. Admissions are currently going on, and you can contact the numbers 652-971-020 or 679-441-072. Access HIPS, creating and molding professionals for quality jobs.
Welcome back. You are watching Prime Hour on My Media Prime. We are continuing with our discussions on the extraordinary assembly that was called by the Fonds of Libya Lem Division on the 14th of this month in Yaoundé, Cameroon's capital, to look at the situation back home, calling on the government to intervene and restore order an enabling environment for the people to live in peace, as well as them, the chiefs, to be able to return and lord it over their people. I start over with you, Derek Song. The traditional rulers want the government to assist them get back home, so that through that assistance they can massively take part in the installation ceremony of the senior divisional officer for Libya Lem. Do they need that support from the government to be able to go back and take part? Are they not showing clearly that they are part of the government? Yeah.
Like I told you, it's a humorous act. It's very pathetic. It's something we should laugh, given that we understand the authority that our chiefs used to carry. I use the word used to carry because now they beg for the power. And if the chiefs are more concerned with the government and the military helping them to gain back power, not because they want to bring back peace, not because they want to restore normalcy, but because they want to help in the installation of DIOs and SDO, people for which the population has risen against and are angry. So the chiefs are telling us that, oh, government, please help us. We want to go back to base so that we will help to support and put these people to power. It means it's not far from saying that the chiefs are so selfish, like Pastor Chris earlier said. They are selfish, and all what they think is their throne, all what they think is their belly. In fact, they are playing bellytics here because they are more concerned with their stomach, what they'll eat. Because if you want to check clearly, their source of bread has been cut off. and they no longer have the support that usually come from the top. They want the government to bring them back to a position where they will sit and have free connection of that bread. Not because they want something that will bring the people or will bring them to help restore normalcy, bring their people back from the bushes. Remember, people have been in the bushes for long. It's not easy. For those who, for someone who can stay even outside, if you live here out of your normal place where you stay and you are stranded somewhere for a day, you know what it means. Talk less of a situation where people are living in the forest for years, and the chiefs are more concerned with restoring them to power, not because they want to bring normalcy, but restoring them from power because they want to help put people in power to keep doing what has been done that has brought this situation this bad.
Yeah, but they are auxiliaries of the government, so there is every reason for them to witness the installation of the representative of the head of state.
When you say that auxiliaries of the government, I've told you, and I started by saying that, I started here by saying that before now, because after now, or as at now, it's not the situation. Chiefs were regarded as demigods. They had super authority, unquestionable. But if they should be begging for the government to restore their powers, you are just telling me that these people have lost authority and there is nothing more. You should not tell me that they have lost
according to you, they have lost authority, but the chiefs are calling on the internal, external elites of Lebialem to come back to save their division from destruction.
If they who are the custodian of the tradition have failed in their responsibility in saving their various villages, what do they expect from the elites?
It went off.
The elites have little or nothing to do right now because they have been disowned by their people. The people no more regard them as examples in the villages and in the community because they have seen that the elites lack objectivity and they are very dishonest. You know, when you are in a leadership position, you have to do things in such a way that people can trust you. And when people trust, they will definitely support you. So right now, we discovered that the elites have lost the support and the trust of the people. So they are just there for decoration. The elites cannot bring out anything good in this matter.
So you think that there's nothing to be saved from Lebialem by the people?
If something has
Isn't this a call that he said earlier on that this is a time where the chiefs should liaise with civil society organizations and other actors in Lebialem to see how they can harness peace?
That is a step towards the solution, but that is not the step that really matters.
Okay.
The person who has the responsibility and the powers who can bring the change right now is the President of the Republic. So if the chiefs are kind of holding their meetings with the elites so that they can table some things directly to the president, because he should know that the major dialogue was really a failure, because we would have expected things to be better on ground after the major dialogue, and it's not the case. So I think that if the chiefs are having a meeting with the elites, it should be to kind of put some proposals, some hot points on the table of the president, so that because he is the one who has the powers to bring a change in this situation.
Now, the chiefs want the government to come and restore order. Who should help who here? Shouldn't it be the government asking the chiefs that help us restore order in Lebialem?
Well, earlier I made mention, and I'll repeat it again, that it is either the gods have left the chiefs or the chiefs have left the gods, because it's been normal that it is the government that's supposed to go to the chiefs for help to galvanize support and prelude to the installation ceremony of the senior divisional officer. But this time around, it is shocking to see that the chiefs are turning a blind eye on the thousands of sons and daughters of the same Lebialem who are in the bushes. It is sadly to see that the chiefs are turning their eyes on those that are being killed as a result of this crisis in that same locality. It is sad enough to see that the chiefs are turning a blind eye for the businessmen and women in that community who should be doing business now, and their businesses are down. It is sad to see that hospitals are not in effective function, in schools especially. The chiefs are more centered on putting them back to power. I think that it is good enough for us to look at the general interest of the people. This does goes to confirm that the chiefs are not focusing on the interest, but they are focusing on the substance. And in negotiation, it is always good, or in dialogue, it's always good for us to focus on the process than to focus on the substance. When I talk about the process here, I'm talking about the substance. Let me start with the substance. The substance here is that the chiefs want that they should go back to their palaces. But the process that they should focus on, it should be what will it take them to have no mercy in that region, in that division, in those villages. The first, what will it take them to have no mercy? The second, who are those who are directly concerned that they may link with in order to get no mercy? The third is that if this no mercy is to be guaranteed, what are those things that are supposed to be done if it's to be guaranteed? The fourth is that, okay, if we take back our chiefdom, what are those things that will hamper us not to, or will make us not to go back from where we are coming from the IDPs that we already are? What would that factor that will make us to stay? And you consider those processes. The process is very important, and when you address those processes, it takes us back to the root causes of the problem, as my brother earlier said. The problem with the chiefs is that they are focused on the substance than the process. In all process of peace building, in all the effort of peace building, you need to focus first on the process of the peace than you focus on the substance. It's the same thing with the major national dialogue. That I want to say here that it was a good initiative that took a giant step, but ended up having a limping step within the way. When I talk about the limping step, I'm saying that the national dialogue, a lot of delegates were more focused on the substance than the process. That's why when the head of state announced the dialogue, everybody was focused on the substance. When I talk about the substance here, I'm talking about everybody was saying, oh, let's talk about decentralization, oh, let's talk about federation, oh, let's talk about confederation, oh, let's talk about restoration. That was the substance that they were more focused on. But they were not focused on the process that, okay, now we are going for a national dialogue. Who are those stakeholders that are supposed to be involved in this national dialogue? The second, what are those persons chairing those committees mandated enough to make decisions if we reach out? The third is that how long will it take if we reach a decision, or if we reach an agreement, or if we reach a concession, how long will it take for it to be implemented? The fourth is that, okay, should we say we reach an agreement, who are those that need to be consulted before this agreement are implemented? Now, what are the stages for the agreement to be implemented? Well, let's say we reach an agreement that it should be confederation. Who and who will be consulted? And what channel will it take before it's reached? When you have all these processes, before going to that dialogue, it gives you a better advantage to better know how to channel your worry. That's why you see the national dialogue ended up with special status, and a lot of people don't know what that special status is. It's simply because we're focused on the process that will give you a special status, the substance that will give you a special status, than taking the process of having that special status. The special status, before you come up with such a means, in negotiation, there was what called normalizing the process. You normalize the process, and you equally, that is to say that you ask yourself, what is this special status? If we are the committee of decentralization, we ask ourselves, we want to give special status as recommendation to the head of state. But first, what do we understand by special status? What does it take to have a special status? What are the ingredients in this special status? It is A, B, C, E, and D. Then we come now and announce that, okay, we are proposing that a special status should be given, and of this special status, laws will definitely need to be implemented. Okay. And it will take this number of days to be implemented.
Okay, we have a second topic to discuss, which has to do with the rising voices calling for speedy implementations of the recommendations put forth by the 8 commissions that sat through the major national dialogue. The president's time is said to always be his time, where he takes decision when he wants to. Do you think that theory should still apply now after the major national dialogue?
There are situations that when it is urgent, we should act urgently. With the situation that we have at hand, where the president is very, very slow, so I would say it's quite sad, because we would have expected that what has been discussed, what people have come to talk about, although to me, because when we talk about the major national dialogue, the word major there is decorative. To me, it was just a national talk, and if the president keeps delaying, because recently he was in France, and one of the statements he made, he was like, I went there and I discussed about HIV/AIDS, I discussed about whatever, and I talked about le grand débat. I think it's taking too much time, given that, first of all, what was discussed there is not even one of the plans or the ambitions or the wishes of the people. It's still taking time to delay.
What was discussed where?
What was discussed at the national dialogue? So
do Anglophones not have an issue with bilingualism? Don't we say that English is used as a second language?
Mr. Leo, those are...
No.
We have told you, I have said it in this forum, and I'm saying it again. There is a difference between a symptom and what actually is.
No, because
remember,
you said everything that was discussed there had nothing to do with the worries of the people.
Mr. Leo, let's get this thing.
Yeah.
The truth is that those who have a bearing on the ground, first of all, were sidelined. Secondly, when the major national dialogue was going on, so you call, there was still shooting on the ground. How can there be a convenient dialogue when the guns are still shouting in the street? What was that? What was that? And even after the dialogue, guns are still making noise. People are still dying.
That is not my question to you. My question to you was whether the presidents, because it is often said in Cameroon, le temps du président, c'est son temps. Should we still be talking like this today in times of crisis?
Okay, I want to say that, you know, when the Prime Minister was concluding with the major national dialogue, he said, all what has been put down can only be implemented in the atmosphere of peace. Meaning that one of the conditions required for the implementation of the resolutions of the major dialogue should be peace. So my question is, if these people really wanted peace, if their goal was peace, why were they not honest to pinpoint or discuss on issues that could result to peace? Because I think they wanted any other thing except peace in that major national dialogue. Because if peace was their target, they would have been more sincere and they would have hit on the right point. You talked of bilingualism. I don't think that what has made people to carry their guns is bilingualism problem.
No, it's one of them. I did not say that was...
I think that's even minor.
Very minor.
Something. The people have put down their desires to an extent by demonstrating. So I think that if they wanted peace, he made a mention of one thing. The major actors were ignored. Those who are fighting, who are in the bushes.
When you say major actors, who are the major actors?
The separatist fighters. They were not on the table.
Were they not invited?
They were not kind of cajoled to be there. You see, because if you want somebody to be there, the negotiator, then you must make sure that the conditions which he's advancing should be respected. Because the separatists said they wanted
they're talking about preconditions.
Yes.
Okay.
They said they wanted a neutral ground, and they wanted it somewhere else. But the politics of our leaders were not strong enough to influence them. And the failure of the major national dialogue started with the absence of these people in Yaoundé. Because they were absent, they couldn't speak there. And they are the people who count, not those I saw in Yaoundé. Those I saw in Yaoundé don't represent any threat to the nation. They are not the ones carrying the guns. They are not the ones firing the guns. The people I saw in Yaoundé are gentlemen.
Yes.
But we needed to get the people who are carrying the guns in Yaoundé so that they can be talked to, and of course they can decide to drop their weapons. But they were not there, they were absent. So that was the major failure of that dialogue.
That was the major failure. You are laughing. Do you have something to add to what he is saying?
Well, I will not want to say that the dialogue or MND was a total failure. I will not want to say that it was a total failure. Like I earlier made the mention that it's a giant step, that was taken, but it ended up with creeping steps. However, there was always progress. They say half bread is better than none, provided it's not blockade. And I just want to believe that the MDD started well, but the process too was not there, because we were delegates were more focused on the what than the why. I want to say that when you're going for a conflict, an emotionally charged conflict like this one, where you have multi-party, a lot of different views, we call the multi-party negotiation. There's what we call a room for you to build. You form an alliance, or you form alliances with those with whom you share common interests. And when you form this alliance with those whom you share common interests, you now pitch the aspect of peace. First of all, you need to have an agenda. As I earlier mentioned, that you focus on the process than the substance. Because if they had these processes, if they had focused on the process before going to Yaoundé, it would have helped guide them to understand that we will talk about peace, we will talk about decentralization, we will talk about this, and this is what we take. But it will shock you to see that when we were in Yaoundé, you and I, we were in Yaoundé during the national dialogue, the kind of way in which the delegate had to operate on, it was more based on a consultative means than an aspect of trying to influence others. I'll give you an example. I feel like the MDD achieved a lot, but did not achieve other things that are mostly needed to counteract, to bring that situation to normalcy. This is what was achieved. First, they achieved the spirit of unity among elites in Cameroon, where all the elites had to converge and share their ideas of difference happening in Cameroon and different ways in which they can solve the crisis. The second thing that they achieved was that they succeeded in coming back to the special status, which is what we have been asking for. A lot of people are confused between special status and federation, or what we call decentralization. When you are going on the negotiation table, negotiation is not bargaining. Bargaining is that I win, you lose. Negotiation is I win, you win. And you must have what we call a